Hello, my little rose thorns and rosebuds. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lord Rosario, and I am here to take you back on the strange request at a piano bar. If you like what you see today, please follow, like, and subscribe to my channel. Now, let us sit back by the fire and go through the strange and fascinating tales that awaits us. Drinking more of your cocktail, you felt even happier than usual, but you paid it no heed. Thinking back, you remembered what Charles said about the type of customers he has had. You decide to ask him to elaborate. Charles leans back, crossing his arms as he thought out loud. Well, whenever I had a customer, they are either divorced, going to be divorced, drunks, newlyweds, businessmen, or juvenile delinquents. But my favorites are new arrivals. A soft smile appeared on his face, looking up on the ceiling, as if remembering those special moments. You also smiled, thinking of how happy he must be to get new arrivals. Taking another few sips, you realized you didn't understand what new arrivals meant. Tapping Charles's shoulder, you asked what he meant. Charles gave you a small grin as he pat your back. I mean, like you! You are a new arrival. People who come here for the first time, the eyes full of wonder and fascination, their mind full of life, and their faces so happy you thought nothing in the world would ever break that. Charles suddenly became silent as he looked down, as if saddened by those memories. You put your hand on his shoulder, giving him comfort and beckoning him to continue. Shaking his head, he looks at you. They were so much fun the whole time they are here. But then the next day, they come back and they become like the rest of my customers. Their eyes die out and become like the rest, uninterested, and even have hatred inside, like they become changed. Clenching his fist, he looks away. They don't even remember who I am. And their first visit here, they just instantly become rude and talk like they have been here plenty of times. A few minutes later, he softens up as he stands. He looks over at you and beckons for your drink. Here, let me get you another refill. You are about to decline and tell him you still had plenty, but then you look in your cup, noticing it was completely empty. There wasn't a drop left. Laughing, you hand your cup back to Charles. You kept giggling as you laid your head on the table, feeling a tad bit drunk. But you didn't want to stop drinking the amazing fruit cocktail. Charles watched your actions as he made you another cocktail. When it was made, he sat back down and handed you your glass. Taking it, you quickly started gulping it down, almost as if hungry for the drink. Charles looked sad as he saw you drink the cocktail. Please, don't choke the drink. It isn't going anywhere. You stopped drinking, hiccuping from drinking too fast. You apologized, holding back your hunger, to just gulp another drop. Charles ran his fingers through his own hair, chuckling. It's all right. I can tell you really like my drinks. You asked if he was the only one who enjoyed it this much. He shook his head. No, you're not the only one. Every new arrival loves my drink. I make for them, but they only enjoy it that one day, and then the next it's nothing to them. They just drink to be drunk or just bored. No happiness at all anymore. You pouted, telling him how crazy they are for not loving his drinks every day. Charles whispers under his breath, "They all say the same thing before they change." You didn't hear it, but you could see by Charles's face that he didn't believe. You make him face you. Holding your cocktail in one hand, you put your other hand on his. Looking into his eyes, you smiled, making a promise that you will be his happiest customer he has ever had, every day, forever. His eyes widened in shock. Nobody has ever tried to make a promise like that. He felt hesitant, but he was going to try. Looking down, taking a deep breath, he looks back into your eyes and asks one simple thing. "Do you promise?" Looking at the drink still in your hand, you smiled, putting your drink down and holding both of his hands as you sealed the promise with a look of confidence and a bright smile on your face. Suddenly, Charles stood up and a big, bright smile on his face as he makes you another cocktail, noticing yours was again empty. He places it in front of you. "Here, one to celebrate." Without thinking, you drink your cocktail, cheering loudly. Charles laughs, feeling much better. You smiled as you come up with the funniest question. You ask if he ever had any strange customers he had to deal with ever since he worked here. Charles laughed. "Oh yeah, of course I have. Actually, it's very interesting. I have had a person who come in here. He was a manager of a carnival. But the carnival had run bankrupt. Of course it wasn't making much money, so," holding his head snickering, he went to the bank, pretending he sprained his leg so he could get more money." Both of you started laughing loudly. Banging his hand on the table, Charles wiped a tear from his eye, still laughing. You asked if he got the money, as she took a sip. Charles scoffed, "Of course not. He just saw him as homeless and kicked him out." You frowned, feeling bad. You asked if he was truly homeless. Charles shrugged. "I don't think so. He comes here every day and is able to pay for his drink. So I'm guessing not. But do you know what the weird part was? He always came in with the apple in his hand. You accidentally spit some of your drink out, covering your mouth. Charles got you a few napkins as he laughed. "I know, it's weird, and I don't even know why. He just came in with an apple in his hand and orders his usual drink and eats the apple with it." Chuckling, you curiously asked Charles what his usual is. Charles waved his hand, scoffing. "A apple cider with beer mixed and lemon. That's too easy." You exclaimed in fascination at how easy he could answer that from all his other customers. Drinking more of your cocktail, you couldn't, or rather wouldn't, believe he remembers every single order by head. So you asked him, was there an order of someone he doesn't remember? Charles instantly stopped laughing, and he looked at you confused. "Don't remember? You mean forgotten?" "Have I ever forgotten an order before?" Rolling your eyes, nodding, Charles rested his chin on his hand. Noticing this was going to take a minute, you finished your cocktail and looked at your drink questionably, feeling like this was your first time finishing it. You were about to say something, but Charles beat you to it. "Oh, I know. There is only one customer's order I don't remember." You sit eyes widen. You couldn't believe that in all that time, he was only able to come up with only one person. You gestured him to continue. Charles was hesitant, trying to remember as he continued. "I was working by myself one night, and a fellow with a mask slowly came walking in. Nobody paid any attention to him. As he slowly approached the counter, his footsteps and heavy breaths and his eyes seemed fated, and clothes tainted with a foul smell. Adjusting his seat, he got up and made you another cocktail. When he finished, he sat down, continuing his story while handing you your drink. I never turned away or felt uncomfortable. I had to deal with him no matter how much I didn't want to. Gesturing him to a seat, I made him a very rare but interesting order. You almost left out of your seat, wondering what he ordered. Eagerly, you asked him. Charles looked down. I don't remember. Everything in you dropped. You were so unhappy. You slammed your head on the table like a rock hitting flat bottom. Charles put a hand on your shoulder. I'm sorry. I wish I could remember for you. It wasn't something. I remember making it something. I only made it for him and nobody else. That's all I remember. You lifted your head, wondering was there even the slightest hint of what he made. As if stricken by luck, Charles exclaimed, Oh, I do remember something. He had a particular smell when he spoke to me afterwards. You gasped loudly, yelling excitedly to tell him. Charles laughed. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, he had a smell of sassafras. The room again became silent. Confusion settled on your face. Then you exploded, yelling at Charles, not believing he could remember an ingredient, but not what was given to him. Charles had a stern look as he crossed his arms. Hey, it's not like I do it on purpose. At this establishment, I always do my best to keep customers satisfied and always remember their orders and get them right. You become angry, yelling about how he is always talking about customers and acting like he is Mr. Perfect and the one person he doesn't remember the order of, but he remembers all other fine details about them. Charles scoffed, rolling his eyes. Excuse me for being honest. At least I'm not the one chugging a drink like it's the last drink on earth. And you have to be perfect to work here, so it's not my fault if you're jealous. You gasped, disgusted by his choice of words. You both continued to have a controversy until Charles decided to end it. Okay, all right, you won. I am sorry. I was in the wrong, and you were in the right. You cheered, feeling like you won, as you drank the rest of your cocktail. Charles rolled his eyes, wanting to change the subject. Anyway, so after he drank, he gestured to me, to his seat, and wanted to whisper something in my ear. Your eyes widened, staring, as you leaned closer. Charles spoke in a whisper. He asked me the strangest thing. He asked me for a request. That was all for part 2. If you want to hear the final part, then please follow, like, and subscribe to my channel. My name is Lord Rosario, and I shall see you all in the next video.